It always begins quietly, not with a scream, not with a breakdown, but with a sigh, barely audible, nearly lost in the wind. A man stands at the edge of a bridge just before dawn. The world is still dark, still asleep. The river below moves in slow silence, as if it too understands the weight he carries. But he's not here to jump. He's here to breathe. His breath fogs in the cold morning air, shallow and uneven. In his hand, a half-empty bottle trembles, not from the chill, but from the storm inside him. The whiskey isn't about taste or escape. It's about silence. He doesn't crave the burn. It's the hush he's after, the quiet, the pause, a moment when the chaos in his skull finally shuts up, when the past stops replaying and the future stops shouting. He tips the bottle back, not to drown, but to quiet the noise. Now, pull back, zoom out, miles away, to a dark bedroom where another soul is wide awake, though the clock insists it's long past midnight. A dim blue glow reflects on her face as she lies flat, scrolling endlessly. Thumb, flick, 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 every motion mechanical, robotic, but beneath it, desperation. She's not bored, she's not curious, she's exhausted, not from the day, but from the weight of being alive. Each video is a hit of dopamine, each meme a mask, every ping a whisper. Forget, escape, numb. The screen isn't entertainment, it's armor against silence, against thought, against pain she can't name, against questions she's too afraid to ask. And like the man on the bridge, she doesn't even realize. She's not looking for pleasure, she's looking for relief. Relief from the voices no one else hears, the ones that whisper, "You're not enough." The ones that echo, "What's the point?" The ones that repeat, day after day, "This is all there is." And somewhere deep down, in that quiet desperation they both carry, is a shared truth. They are not broken. They are overwhelmed, drowning not in failure, but in noise. Noise from the world, noise from their past, noise from within. And both are trying, desperately, silently, to find one thing, stillness. Even if just for a moment. Because sometimes it's not about wanting to die. It's about not knowing how to live. Different actions, same ache. That ache is addiction. But what if we've misunderstood it all along? What if addiction is not a problem, but a message? Today we're going to dismantle everything you think you know about addiction. Not with condemnation, not with cliches, but with compassion, with truth. Through the timeless insights of Carl Jung and the raw contemporary clarity of Gabor Mate, we'll journey into the heart of suffering, and maybe, just maybe, uncover the key to healing you or someone you love. Addiction is not about substances, it's about escape. Carl Jung once said that addiction arises when people seek wholeness in the wrong places. Addiction is not weakness, it's not moral failure. It is a scream from the soul. I'm in pain, and I don't know where else to go. And Gabor Mate, he takes it further. He doesn't ask, why the addiction? He asks, why the pain? Because every addiction, whether it's heroin or hustling, porn or perfectionism, is an attempt to soothe something raw and unresolved. Think about the bridge again. That man didn't wake up craving alcohol. He woke up craving peace. Maybe his father beat him. Maybe his mother abandoned him. Maybe no one ever told him he was enough. His addiction didn't start with a drink. It started with a wound. And in your life, haven't you done the same? Maybe not with drugs, but with food, with busyness, with relationships that drain you, with achievements that leave you feeling emptier each time. You don't crave the thing. You crave the feeling the thing gives you, and then the feeling fades, the pain returns, and the cycle tightens its grip. Addiction is a strategy, a survival mechanism, a substitute for love. Picture a child. He learns early. When he cries, no one comes. When he's angry, he gets punished. When he's vulnerable, he's mocked. So he shuts down, suppresses his truth, plays the role, smiles when he wants to scream. That child grows up. He learns to cope, not with connection, but with control. And then one day he finds something, a drink, a pill, a person, a pattern, that makes him feel something again. Not joy, not love, just not pain. And that's enough. But we don't see that. We see the addict on the corner and scoff. We see the girl who can't stop checking her phone and roll our eyes. We judge, because it's easier to judge than to understand. But let me ask you something. What if you asked not, what's wrong with you, but instead, what happened to you? That question changes everything. Jung believed the addict is not broken, just spiritually disconnected. In one case, Jung treated a man addicted to alcohol. He told him, what you're really looking for isn't the drink. It's the experience of transcendence. The drink is just the counterfeit. That insight is profound. Because when we treat addiction like a disease, we miss the truth. It's often a crisis of meaning, a hunger for something deeper, something sacred. And that's why solutions that ignore the soul almost always fail. Addiction is not about the substance. It's about what the substance covers up. Mate explains that addiction has three key elements. 1, a strong craving. 2, a temporary relief. 3, a long-term consequence. The relief comes fast. The consequence comes slowly. But by the time the damage shows, relationships broken, bodies wrecked, souls hollowed, the craving is a scream you can't unhear. You're not addicted to the drug. You're addicted to the absence of pain. So what's the real enemy? Not the substance, the disconnection from your childhood, from your body, from your truth. Because disconnection makes room for pain, and pain makes room for addiction. It starts early. A child adapts by shutting down his needs. By the time he's grown, he can't even feel those needs anymore. But healing is possible. And it begins with one radical act, reconnection. Jung called this the journey of individuation, the lifelong process of integrating your unconscious and conscious self to become whole. Mate emphasizes the need for compassion. He says people don't heal through punishment. They heal through connection. Shame never saved anyone, but safety can. And that safety begins when someone looks into your eyes and says, I see your pain. I don't judge it. Let's explore it. Healing isn't glamorous. It's brutal. It's vulnerable. It's real. You have to sit with the very feelings you've spent your whole life avoiding. You'll cry, you'll rage, you'll feel things you swore you buried forever. And then, one day, you'll breathe and realize you no longer need the thing that once owned you. Not because the craving disappeared, but because you finally listened to what it was trying to tell you. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That's your task, to meet your shadow, to grieve the child who never got held, because that's the only way to become whole. And when you do, the addiction loses power, because it's no longer the only thing that hears your pain. So how do we get there? How do we break free? You start by asking different questions. What am I running from? What emotion do I fear the most? Who told me I had to hide who I am? What would happen if I let myself feel fully? Then you create space. for reflection, for therapy, for stillness, for community, for conversations that don't start with judgment, but with love. Let's make this personal. Gabor Mate tells the story of a woman he treated, an addict, broken, ashamed. She wasn't healed by tough love. She was healed the moment she was allowed to speak the unspeakable. Her recovery didn't start with quitting drugs. It started with reclaiming her voice. What about you? What voice have you silenced? What wound have you buried? You don't have to numb it anymore. Addiction is not your identity. It's a signal, a clue, a call to return home. And when you start to answer that call, you don't just heal addiction, you begin to transform. Because the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection to your body, to your truth, to the people who love the version of you that doesn't need to perform or hide. So here's your invitation. Start the journey inward. Not because it's trendy, not because someone told you to, but because deep down you already know this is the only way through. Go inward, not to escape the world, but to finally face it, to face yourself, sit with your pain, not to wallow in it, but to understand it, to listen to what it's been trying to tell you beneath all the distractions, beneath the anger, beneath the silence. Speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if no one claps, even if the truth feels raw, unpolished, or ugly. Because truth is what heals. Not pretending, not performing. Seek help without shame. Let go of the idea that you have to carry it all alone. You weren't made to. And strength doesn't mean silence. Strength is saying, I can't do this by myself. Strength is walking into the light, even if your hands are trembling. So this is your invitation, not to perfection, not to instant peace, but to the real work, the sacred work, the beautiful, painful, courageous work of becoming whole. Because you are not broken, you are not beyond repair. You are a human being, searching, suffering, surviving, and finally, ready to come home to yourself. If this resonated with you, share it. Not for views, but for lives. Someone out there needs to know they're not alone. Their addiction is not their fault. And healing is possible. Not someday, but today. You are more than your pain. Let that truth be the beginning.